Hi, Namdarian here. In this video, we're going to be talking about toxic people and changing your relationship with toxic people. More specifically, healing your relationship with toxic people. Toxic people suck balls. They are in our life, whether we want them to or not, and they are rampant, making a mess all up in our space. A toxic person, now the interesting thing about toxic people is for some people they're toxic, for other people they're not. Like, someone isn't necessarily a toxic person. You'd hope so, not all the time to everyone. Some people might be, but who might be toxic to you might not necessarily be toxic to someone else. So it's really worth noting that a toxic person generally might be toxic from your perspective. So in this video, we're talking more about healing your relationship with them and why that's important. Now, this was a question that was given to me through Instagram, and this is more of an in-depth video for that person, but also an in-depth video for anyone who is dealing with a toxic person. Now, I like the idea that your relationship with other people will change when your relationship with other people changes. Now, this is it's sort of like one of those things. It's like, you grow when you grow, but it's true. When your relationship with other people changes, you start to have a different perspective on them. And when you have that different perspective on them, you start to shift out of that. Now, when we focus on healing, we focus on the idea of surrender, which means we choose to allow ourselves to feel those feelings that are going on underneath. For example, if you are having a toxic person in your life, how does it feel to have them around you? Can you surrender to those feelings? Usually what happens is whatever we resist persists. So if you are having a person in your life who is basically causing you a lot of grief, what does that grief feel like? When I say your relationship with other people changes when your relationship with them changes, it's like, it's not just them, but it's the emotions. Because we have what we call stuck emotions. Emotions that we are stuck essentially in our nervous system, but emotions that we get stuck on because we are unable to process it. So for example, some people really suck at getting angry. So people who get them to be angry, either like people who cause them anger, they will get stuck in that anger, meaning that either that person will consistently come back into their life because they just don't know how to deal with that person. They'll rant to their friends, they'll be like, that person's so bad for me, but they'll do nothing about it. Or more specifically, that once that person leaves, they themselves will just carry it with them. They're like, oh, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry. So healing your response with other people is really interesting because there are some people in your life where you can cut out, and when you heal your relationship with them, you might actually realize that you might just have to fucking cut them out. That's the thing that a lot of people will get wrong. And I'm saying this fucking honestly. A lot of people will get wrong when it comes to spirituality and healing, when it comes to relationships with other people. They're like, oh, everything must be in harmony. If I'm not in harmony with everyone else, then there's something wrong with me. It's like, fuck no. You might heal your reaction to someone else only to realize that it ain't on you, that it's actually them, and that it's damaging you to be in their space. Healing creates a healed perspective, and a healed perspective isn't necessarily one that's always loving and harmonious. To be loving and harmonious is good, but to say that you must always be loving and harmonious isn't necessarily always beneficial, because you're always like, oh, I gotta be positive, gotta be positive, gotta be positive. Why? Because you're afraid of being negative? Is that very healed if you are avoiding something? And so deciding that someone should be out of your life is always, I would say, a much more healed way, because it's like you can choose to love everyone. That's when I was personally healing on my own, working on my own healing reactions to other people. It's like some people I love. I've done another video in the past, like, there's a difference between liking and loving someone. Some people you're going to love, and they're going to be fucking toxic for you. But you can decide through healing your reaction to them and healing your relationship with them that you might decide that you just got to love them from far. That they are a sometimes person or they are a none of the time person, and they can politely not be in your life. Now, what do you do if someone keeps persistently coming into your life? Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's like a sibling, someone that you just can't fucking deal with, but for some reason they just keep coming up in your life. Well, this is where I personally like to look at it like it's another healing journey, because as I look at everything like it's a healing journey. Sometimes it pisses people off. No, not really. It's a joke. But what ends up happening is if a person keeps coming back into your life over and over and over again, I like to think that there's just more to heal. And maybe that person isn't meant to be Like maybe they keep coming into your life. For example, I actually had a thing with my father. For some reason, I just kept working with him. I just kept doing it, I just kept doing it, and I kept wanting to do with it. And so as much and as honestly as he pissed me right off, and he pissed a lot of people right off, and he consistently does, you can tell, I'm like, oh, he kept coming into my life. And it kept causing me pain. So what do? I surrender to the pain. What do? We surrender to our reactions to the things. Because when we heal our reactions, we heal the things. So we surrender, the cycle passed. Now, upon dealing with my father, I had to actually go through everything. Jesus Christ, was there a lot for me to go through. Deep thoughts of pain towards him, towards myself. There's a lot of stuff that I am not going to share, probably because of YouTube algorithms, but if we were in person or if this was a coaching call or something like that, I would share it with you. But long story short, as someone who loved me, intentionally tried to sabotage my life, only when my relationship with him had changed did my relationship with him change. I can see now, without any sense of doubt, that he loves me and that just like everyone else, he's trying. Now, with other people I healed my relationship with, doesn't necessarily mean I want them in my life. Some people, they become sometimes people, and that's okay. But to think that we almost must be loving and accepting demonstrates a block in our life. That we ourselves are stuck. We're stuck, and we're stuck with being stuck. We think we shouldn't be stuck, so therefore what do? We get stuck more. Or we're angry at being angry. So we shouldn't be angry, so we're like, they made me angry. The healing our relationship with other people, especially people we consider toxic, is a moving on thing. Because once they come back into our lives, we can decide, hey, I'm done with this. Example with my father again. Same shit. He gives me his drama or whatever it is I'm not going to get into here in this video. My response is, I don't want this. I have never been so clear about that. I want his love, don't necessarily want him. And this is the interesting thing. When we heal our response to one attribute, we heal it overall. We are done. Tongue in cheek, for all intents and purposes, you are done with that aspect. Unless it comes up more and you aren't aware of it, you are essentially done. I remember I was in a bar talking to someone. That particular someone was tearing into my work in the same way, they were a hurt person trying to hurt someone. In the same way that the same way my father did, actually. And my response was, no, I'm done with this. I don't want this energy. I'm done with it. I've processed it. I know it's not for me. So I'm like, I can't continue this conversation. Very politely, very affirmatively. I've seen people who have toxic people in their life, people they fucking can't stand. And in times of need, they've finally and utterly healed their relationship with them. And they are just like, I need you to support me here. And that person, despite their anger, their pain, they go, okay, I will support you. And we become essentially pure in our intent, where we can share what we want and what we need with other people because we are so fucking clear. And that might be to tell them to politely leave, or we might politely leave. Sometimes they are great people. It's just not the right time. And that's the hard thing for a lot of people accept in more intimate relationships. They're like, but they're so perfect. It's just not the right time. Well, if they're so perfect, why is it the wrong time? So this is this video on emotional healing, surrender, love, relationships, toxic things, just like that. If you did like this video, make sure to comment, share something you learned, share something you've been through yourself, how you maybe healed a toxic relationship or something you're currently going through. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe I'll make a video on it. If you do want to work with me privately, I'm still reworking my private coaching program. But in the meantime, there are some online courses on my website. I have one of my favorite ones, which is Unlock Your Desires. It's one of my more cheaper online courses. It's an audio online course, so you can listen to me yell in your ear all about surrender, about unlocking desires deep inside of us. Because sometimes the reason why we don't get what we want is just because we fucking don't know what that is. I know every time I tried to do something and I failed, honestly, it's because I didn't fully know exactly what I wanted. And that process was a discovery process. Did I fail, or was I discovering something more about it? So that's a video, that's an online course you can check out. Link should be in my description somewhere, or if not, you can message me privately. So thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.